Ladies and gentlemen, now in today's video we're going to be breaking down and having a little bit of a chat about the announcement for the second variant mode of gameplay coming to Marvel Contest of Champions, entitled Mystery in the Micro Realm, which was kind of originally the event, I think, where Ant-Man and Yellow Jacket made their debut, but this event looks very, very unique, and I feel like it's either going to be really, really fun or a little bit meh, and I'm not really too sure which one of those is going to be yet. Because this variant, unlike the original variant that has class restrictions and Act 6 which has horrible rarity restrictions, this doesn't have either of those. However, you're pretty much required to only use those big, chunky XL champion boys. And there are so many kind of unique buffs and nodes that reward you and seem to kind of force you into using certain champions and tactics. However, it looks like you can bring, again, champions of any rarity there, so 4 stars hopefully should still be relevant in this mode of gameplay. And it seems a little bit interesting, man. Again, there's a lot of quirky stuff to cover, and we'll talk about some of these buffs, because this is a bit of the core of variant there, but it's basically going to have a global particle protector. So if you have any champion, or if you use any champion that is below the XL size, the defenders will have an 85% chance to glance attacks. Glancing hits cannot be critical, they deal 50% reduced damage, and suffer minus 100% offensive ability accuracy. So this seems a little bit jacked up in comparison to what we've seen previously, but basically you're not going to have a very good time in this variant if you're using any champion that is not an XL character. So it's kind of forcing you to bring in those XL champions. I'm going to talk about, you know, who are some of the XL champions, because we have one very, very OP XL champion in the game that's been added recently, Thing, and I kind of have the prediction that he's probably just going to absolutely dominate this mode of gameplay, man, because it doesn't look like there's going to be, again, any restriction on the synergies that you can bring into this as well. So there might be some very, very interesting stuff that you can do. However, one of the things to talk about is the rewards. If you can pull off this challenge, man, I think one of the best reward structures that we've ever had is for the first variant, man. I think the rewards for doing 100% are so incredibly good. There's so much tier 2 alpha, especially in those 2015 rank up gems. And this variant is going to give you 3 more of those. Now, I think we have seen, like, fairly recently, a lot of 2015 science champions being buffed, especially like She-Hulk and also Spider-Gwen having their massive revamps as well. So the science gems alone, man, have gone up tremendously in value, because you've got Luke Cage, Hulk, Spider-Gwen, She-Hulk, that all make for fairly good rank ups as well. It's just kind of those mutant gems that you want to avoid, but at least on my main account, man, I still need a few more of these gems. I'd like to rank for my 5-star Ronin as well. That'd be a really great time from another Cosmic. Symbiote Spider-Man would be pretty good, taking up magic. So I do appreciate these 2015 rank up gem crystals, man. I feel like in the right scenario, there are a fair few good champions which they can be used on. But also, I assume for completion as well, you're going to get a 5-star rank 3 to 4 gem crystal. And also for 100%, you're also going to get a another rank 5-star gem crystal, along with a 5-star awakening gem, probably a couple of 5-star crystals thrown in there, and you can see there's some tier 5 basic as well, 6-star crystal shards, load of gold, load of units. So pretty much, you know, if you've done one variant, it's very, very similar in terms of the reward structure, but also the 2 to 3 5-star rank up gems are fairly nice as well, for I believe the completion of every chapter. And if it's not, you know, the biggest stretch in the world, those can be a fairly nice way to get a bit of roster growth and progression there. So I like the rewards, man. The rewards are really, really nice. You know, they're the same as the original variant, so it seems pretty awesome there. However, so what do we want to talk about here? So unlike back issue 1, again, just to cover the blurb here, there will not be explicit gates, so there's going to be no class gate or no rarity gate according to this, but instead we'll be applying the global buffs that strongly encourage the use of certain champions. In this case, it's extra large champions. All quests will make use of a micro reflex, size matters, and particle protector effects. You might remember from Evangeline Lilly's champion challenge last year, but appropriately souped up. So it's basically a more jacked version of that node. again, I remember it being something like 50% to glance or 35% to glance, and here it's 85% to glance. So I do not believe like any champion other than XL ones are going to be a great time here. Maybe Quake as well. Maybe she might be able to get around there, but we're certainly going to have to see there. Maybe a few other champions, man, with unique abilities. I'm just trying to think, like, maybe Mephisto's Aura of Incineration. I don't know, maybe there are some quirky ways to get around it. Havoc's damage, I don't know if that's going to be a way to do it, but it's certainly going to be fun figuring out, you know, who can get around this node as well. And on top of this, the new Runaway Express and Cultivating Mass buffs will give XL champions further advantage beyond their abilities to ignore Particle Protector. And Quest 1-3 through 3-3 will also feature buffs that will benefit bringing in certain XL champions. So the first two quests don't have these specific buffs, which we're going to talk about in a second, but the final 7 will, so that's just something to keep in mind there. So Runaway Express, what does this buff do? Attackers that are size XL will throw an unblockable attack every 10 hits on the combo meter, so that seems you know, interesting, maybe useful in the right scenario. Not really too sure about that one, but yeah, it seems alright there. And also Cultivating Mass, attackers buff duration is increased by 25% for size XL champions. I don't know if this is Always Sunny in Philadelphia reference, but I like it, man. I very much like it. And then we've got Smash. So we've got when attacker is using Hulk, Red Hulk, or Hulk Ragnarok, gain Fury and Unstoppable buffs after using any special attack, and the duration and potency of these buffs are increased by the level of the special attack used. So that one seems quite interesting there. Very nice buff to all 3 of those champions when it is present. And then we got Supernova. When the attacker activates a buff or debuff while fighting as Venom, Venompool, Venom the Duck, or Thing, it triggers twice. So that could be really... Oh my goodness. I'm thinking of like the Thing synergy there, that could be insane, man. Dude, if like the champion synergies when you're hitting into Thing, the Fury, it procs twice, that's gonna be nuts, mate. There's gonna be so much damage output there. So yeah, I think Thing is universally, like with the full synergy, man, gonna be an absolute MVP for a lot of the stuff here, but especially on this chapter as well. But for Venom as well, Venom the Duck, these are all great stuff to see. We've also got Overgrowth as well, which I think is one of the more interesting nodes. So the attacker gains 30% regeneration buff potency when fighting as Groot or King Groot, and triggering a regeneration effect will place a poison debuff of comparable strength and double duration on the defender. So the more healing you have as Groot or King Groot, the more damage you're going to deal to the opponent, and I think this is a really nice way of just making those champions not completely suck. So yeah, I really like that, man. Maybe we're going to be whipping those King Groots out in no time, who knows, boys, but yeah, I don't know too many people with Groot or King Groot ranked up, but I think you can... Is Groot covered under the 2015 rank up gem? Dude, I've totally forgot. We can check at the end of the video, actually. Maybe it's time to rank for those Groots, boys, if you need it for that. But I assume he's going to be sufficient as a rank 3. But hey, if you pull him as a 5-star, man, might not be complete trash now. And then we've got Dimensional Dominion, while the attacker is fighting as Thanos or Dormammu. Bit niche with the Thanos there, but Dormammu, you know, he's a little bit more accessible there, and successfully lands a heavy attack. They will temporarily gain unstoppable and indestructible buffs, and their attacks will inflict power burn, and this ability has a 10-second cooldown. So that one, I assume, is going to be much more beneficial to Dormammu, because he's much better than Thanos in all fairness. And then we've got Heavy Machinery, so... and this is one I'm very curious to try out, man. Dude, I feel like this challenge might just be quite fun for the memes, because there's references to, like, really trash characters. So when the attacker is fighting as Hulkbuster, MODOK, or Sentinel, and an Armor Up or Force Field buff is active, basic attacks deal 30% additional energy damage, and have a 10% chance to leave a stacking shock debuff on the defender. So yeah, I don't know, man. This might be pretty sick for Hulkbuster. I think Hulkbuster actually only generates armor when he's getting hit. But yeah, I don't know, man. You can have high hopes there. But yeah, is that going to be alright for maybe if you get Sentinel Special 3, might get some shock value out of that one. But I imagine much more MODOK is going to benefit from that node more than anybody else there. And then we've got That's How Black ISO Mafia works. When the attacker is fighting as Kingpin or Joe Fix-It, when the fight starts, the attacker gains a permanent buff at random, and the defender receives a permanent debuff at random. So yeah, that seems alright. Not really super game-changing there, but okay. And then we've got when the attacker is fighting as Rhino, Juggernaut, or Abomination, every strike has a 30% chance to remove one buff from the defender and deal an additional 2% of their total health and damage. So this one, it seems pretty essential for the quest that it's going to be part of, man, if they're really, really beefy champions. So yeah, not bad at all, like 30% chance to nullify and deal 2%. I imagine for all of those champions is going to be great, maybe Rhino and Juggernaut more so with all those unstoppable. And then finally we got the glancing, so again everyone is going to have an 85% chance to glance unless you're using an XL champion, and glancing hits cannot be critical, deal 50% reduced damage, and suffer 100% offensive ability accuracy. So I don't know, I have a feeling that Havoc's going to get around it, maybe Quake's going to get around it as well, but I'm interested to get your thoughts as well as to you know, what champions are going to be able to counter this. As kind of previous one as well, the classic version just really sucks. I think it's just there for kind of nostalgia purposes. So this is a bit of an end game challenge, but I don't know, man. I'm interested to see it. Again, I feel like if they pull it off well, it's going to be really, really fun, and there are going to be a lot of options, and 4 stars are going to be viable in it, and you can just have like a really, really good gameplay experience. But equally, this could end up being a little bit meh, a little bit tedious if it does require you to rank up all of these champions. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm gonna keep an open mind, and it is gonna be coming on Wednesday, boys. So April 10th. So we're gonna be live streaming on Wednesday. So yeah, keep a bit of an eye out for that, man. And I'm really, really looking forward to it. Hopefully we'll have BC on Skype as well. Have a proper good time, lads. So if you did enjoy today's video, feel free to smash that like button. Let me know your thoughts on the brand new variant in the comment section below. Aside from that, thank you very much for watching. Take care, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic day.